This really isn't a video I thought I would make, but I got to give all credit to Mike Payton with A to Z Sports.com, specifically the Detroit Lions, in dropping this idea. And I had to interject my 2 cents on the matter. And that is, you can see from the thumbnail and the banner, of Justin Fields becoming a Detroit Lion. We're going to talk about it as to what I think of it. We're going to bring in Mike's thoughts as well. And I'll give you my take on whether or not I think this would be a good idea for the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions do have Hendon Hooker under contract for 2 more years, but it's obvious with Teddy Bridgewater coming in for the playoffs that Hendon is not ready. Hendon will not play as a Detroit Lion. He will not get much time playing as a Detroit Lion. So we still got him for 2 years, but we've been hearing kind of some rumblings that there could be a trade possibility, but we're also hearing that they absolutely love Hendon Hooker. I'm going to tell you why I could see Hendon actually being part of a trade package. Is because he will not play in Detroit. If the Detroit Lions didn't think he was ready after year 2, getting no time, he's not going to be ready after year 3. You guys can see I'm also rocking the Syndicate t-shirt. Now, what you cannot tell, or you might be able to, is that I made a design snafu. I did not center the logo, so it is a little bit off, which that's what this was for, some ideas of quality and things like that. This was 100% my fault. I did not center the design. So anyway, but I like it. It's comfortable, looks good, feels good, and it's quality, man. So anyway, we'll address that more in another video, maybe. But I could see, well, let's do this. Let's bring in what Mike Payton has to say about this. And again, this is all coming from him. Says Fields can come out and play that Taysom Hill role for the Lions. They can utilize him in the Wildcat, have him come out, throw some passes on trick plays, and maybe even catch some passes. Wow. There's a super fast guy just sitting there. He can help. I know a lot of you guys want a mobile quarterback. What would Field cost? Cap expert Joshua Q is projecting that Fields could get a 1-year deal worth $8.5 million. He says that's not a bad deal at all. It's a win-win for both sides. I think this is extremely intriguing. Justin Fields used to absolutely annihilate us with his legs. I think that this could be a decent fit for the Detroit Lions. Of course, if you bring in a Justin Fields, you are not going to have Hendon Hooker part of your roster, or he's going to be kind of demoted to that emergency quarterback. So you could still have him on the roster and he not have the number 2 QB role. Now, why would I think that this would work? Because Hendon Hooker is not ready. That's obvious. Justin Fields is not a great thrower of the football, right? But he can give the Lions a different perspective on offense. I would not want to just put him in there as Taysom Hill, because when Justin Fields was in Pittsburgh, that's kind of what they did with him. You knew if he came in, it was a run play. But we've seen him firsthand. His record wasn't stellar against the Lions, but he used to kill us on the ground. He couldn't do much in the air, but on the ground, he would kill us. He would give you guys the quarterback you were looking for. More dynamic runner than Hendon Hooker, and not a better passer, but Hendon does not have the experience. Justin Fields has multiple years as a starter for the Chicago Bears. If you want a backup coming in, a backup quarterback, that's the backup you want. There is some indication that there are other teams could be in play. The Pittsburgh Steelers could still be in play. As a matter of fact, I know some Pittsburgh dudes that would prefer him over Russell. You got a guy there, might as well keep him. So this is if he leaves Pittsburgh. But I'm not going to disagree with Mike. I think that this would be a very intriguing prospect, intriguing situation for Justin Fields. He can bring something to this team that we haven't seen in a very long time. We know Justin Fields has a different skill set than Jared Goff. You're talking about bringing a mobile quarterback, a dual threat QB to the table. This would be something, but I must admit, never crossed my mind ever. So shout out to Mike for putting that seed in there. Let's look at his stats though. 6'3", 227, only 25 years old. He's not going to take over for Jared Goff. That's not a thing. Jared Goff is not going anywhere. Last year, don't forget, he started the first several games for the Pittsburgh Steelers as Russell Wilson was recovering from that hamstring injury or whatever it was. Here's what he did for last season. Had 1,106 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, a miserable QBR, but touchdown to interception ratio is not horrible. Spent the first 3 years in Chicago, played just 10 games in 2024. And in those 10 games, we know what his stats were. Rushing, and here's where he could bring his dynamic to the Detroit Lions. In 2022, had 1,146 yards. Last year, had 289. Pittsburgh was not the right fit. They already had no offense. And here's something. The more you talk about this, the more intriguing it becomes. But it really all would hang on Hendon Hooker. The Pittsburgh Steelers are miserable on offense. Could you imagine Justin Fields in an offense like the Detroit Lions? You wouldn't know who to protect. You wouldn't know who to go. Like, you got David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, St. Brown. I wouldn't want to come in and just have Justin as a runner. I wouldn't want to do that because the defense would be ready for that. You're not going to the Detroit Lions are not going to bring him in for a series. That's not what they're going to do. They're not going to mess up the dynamic. But they could do something like Taysom Hill. That would be something to really look at. I don't think we're drafting a quarterback this year. We might need a backup. We don't know if Hendon is truly going to be ready. Training camp will tell me a lot. I could see there with my own eyes last offseason as we were going into training camp and in training camp that he was not ready. He was not ready. That's why we brought in Jake Fromm. That's why we wind up bringing in Teddy Bridgewater for the playoffs, because Hendon was just not ready. And how can Hendon be ready? How can he get any better if he's never going to play? The preseason is not enough. That's the one thing the NFL lacks that they could really use is a developmental league, because a developmental league could have it where, these guys could get, not, of course they get hurt. They could get hurt, but they also could get better. So one thing the NFL does not have. Baseball, hockey, and basketball has it, but football is a different breed. You're hitting people at full speed. You could be injured in that developmental league and never play again. So it's risky, but these guys need time to develop. They really do. And Hendon will not have any time with the Detroit Lions. In my opinion, he's still kind of a rookie. Spent his rookie year hurt. The second year really didn't do anything. Wasn't ready to take the helm at the playoffs for the backup QB. And I don't think that's going to just get better if he doesn't have any time to play. So Justin Fields, 3 years of starter experience, 1 year as a backup, so he knows what that is. I wouldn't be mad. $8.5 million, that's a lot. That's a lot for a 1-year backup quarterback. That's a lot. I don't know if I'm you're talking about Justin Fields. I'm not opposed to a backup quarterback getting $8.5 million. Here's the key. Here's where you have to look at. If Jared Goff went down and Justin Fields came in, do you think, like, it's kind of weird because a part of me is getting excited and I understand, I've always understood what you guys mean as a mobile QB, having that option, the dynamic that our offense would be if Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or one of those mobile QBs was behind center. I understand that. And it's kind of getting me a little bit excited just to think about that. Don't get it twisted. Goff is my quarterback. That's my guy. But it would be intriguing to see. I just don't know how the Lions would work him in. It works for Taysom Hill. This guy does everything. I don't know if Justin Fields wants to do that, but it works for Taysom Hill. You see what happened to Taysom Hill, though? He got season-ending injury. I don't know if I would want to do that. Plus, the defense can key in on that. So do you bring in Justin Fields for a series and throw off the dynamic, or do you just relegate him to backup QB? With a talent like his, you would have to have some plays for him. And they couldn't be running all the time. They just couldn't be snap the ball, run. Like, that's, again, it works for Taysom Hill. It didn't really work for Pittsburgh last year, but this is assuming he even goes out into free agency and the Steelers don't re-sign him. So it's super intriguing. I wouldn't be mad about it. It's something that really never crossed my mind. I just never even thought about that. I think because we have Hendon Hooker and it really wouldn't make much sense. But if the Lions are going into year 3 of Hendon Hooker with a clear understanding that he is not ready, he will not be ready, he's not going to get ready with no playing time, I could see it then. And then maybe you do auction him off trade him off to a team that could use him. Maybe you say, hey, Aaron Glenn, give us a 5th round pick, give us a 6th round pick, and we'll take this. But here's the thing too, Justin Fields, I'm not really putting any of this in his hands. What if he wants to come to Detroit? What if he wants to come to Detroit to get back at the team that literally gave up, threw the dude away, took him, and then, I mean, his in Chicago, don't forget, going into year 3, when Chicago had the first overall pick and then traded it to get with the Carolina Panthers, they were talking about moving on from him then. But I think Eberflus saving his job and then Justin Fields playing well at the end of the season bought him a year, and then they just threw the dude away. So maybe he wants to come back to the NFC North to kind of get a little bit of revenge, even though he won't play much. Or maybe he will. I don't know. But this is very intriguing, an intriguing prospect by Mike Payton. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. The shirt is super comfortable. And what happened was when I designed it, I did not center. I thought I was eyeballing it, and I didn't even know they had a center button. So it's more to the left than it is to the right. No, it's more to the right than it is to the left. You wouldn't have probably told unless I told you, but the quality. So what I'll do is I'll use these products for quality assurance to see if, I mean, it feels great. The material is good. The quality seems to be good, but I got to throw it in the washer to see what we really dealing with. So far, I like all of the products, and you guys have seen everything but the hat. The hat is super small. The logo is kind of embarrassingly small, but again, I didn't know the full extent of what I was doing, so I know now, and yeah, that's on me. But anyway, let me know what you think, and I like it, comfortable, but you know, I'll fix it in. Yours won't be. None of them will be messed up again. All right, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other, and as always, go Lions.